Well, hey everybody. Hello, hello. I think we're having some troubles here with my phone. Give me just a second. I think we're okay now. It's not all good, but all right. Are we live yet on Facebook? Because hello everybody on YouTube. There we are. I think we're official now. Hello, hello. I got my thumb on there. There we go. Sorry about that, mamas. Jessica Golder here, the CEO and founder of Ace Cookie Tutoring. We are talking part 2 of our motivation series. Yesterday was all about the why. So why, does your team do this thing? What's that goal? How do we get your team motivated? So catch that if you missed that. But today we're focusing on the tasks themselves, okay? Those big things, those small things. And we got to figure out, okay, is this a big thing to my team? Is this a little thing to my team? Because little tasks, different types of motivation than big tasks. And that also means different types of rewards, different things that are going to motivate your team. Okay, so I want to know down below what would be a big task to your team. What's something that your team might not want to do, might put up more resistance than anything else. I want to know about it down below. I do also want to encourage you all after the video to schedule a talk with Jessie, a consultation, whatever you like to talk about it, call it, so that we can talk. You, me, and your team. Figure out, okay, what's really going on? Why is motivation such a problem? But let's talk about these tasks here. Hopefully you're sharing what's a big task, just whatever comes to mind, okay? And the thing is, kind of a couple key points I want to make is number one, that a big task today for your team might be a small task tomorrow. Okay, doing the dishes might seem like a huge task to your team today because maybe there's all sorts of pots and pans and plates and cups and whatever in your team. It's like, oh, I really hate doing dishes already. And then there's a lot. But tomorrow might be, only one pan. And so it doesn't feel like such a big task. Or it could be that one pan is in the sink today and it feels like a big task to your teen because he had a really, really bad day. Or she is so distracted, so focused on something else that dishes just seem like they're in the way of doing that other thing. Okay, so two very different examples about the same thing, but just know, mamas, that big task, small task isn't going to be the same thing to you as it is to your teen, and it's definitely not going to be the same to your teen day to day, even if it's a very similar task, if not the same task, aka doing the dishes. Okay. The other big thing to point out here is the fact we have to match rewards to tasks. Okay. If it's a big reward, we have to have done something big to earn it. Okay. Now, before we talk about those rewards and, the motivation system, the reward system, and how that really motivates your team, we have to know, okay, maybe we have to talk a little bit more about really the definition of a big task, small task. I gave the example of the dishes, but does it really make sense? Is it crystal clear what makes a task big or small? Because that's kind of where some of the frustrations come on your end, mamas, is you're seeing this thing that could be done in 5 minutes and you're like, just do it. And you think it's small, but your team doesn't feel that way. Okay. So for a real quick backup here, do you know a big task is something your team finds difficult? It could be something your team just doesn't want to do. It could be something assigned from a class, your teacher assigned from a class or a teacher that your team doesn't like. I don't necessarily want to say hate, but unfortunately, our teens sometimes feel that way about a class or a teacher until they learn how to learn for the sake of learning. On the other hand, a small task is really quick. It's pretty easy and might even be and probably is something your teen wants to do. Okay, or your teen thinks will take little effort, take little time. Because that's an interesting discussion I actually had with some students today. Is the task small based on time more so than like level of effort? And it was different depending on the teen. So conversation I encourage you to have with your child is what task feels big, what task feels small, how do they know, how will you know? Okay, so let's talk about the reward system next. Before I do, I want to say thanks so much for watching on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching on Facebook. Be sure to follow, be sure to subscribe to the Ace Cookie Tutoring channel and page, because there will be another video all about motivation. I'm Jessica Coulter, CEO and founder of Ace Cookie Tutoring, and I teach teens how to learn through study skills. Motivation is one of those study skills, so that is why we're talking about this today. So let's get back into it. One kind of final thing to mention about this idea of size of tasks. We mentioned matching tasks, okay? So not only do we need to know, does this task feel big or small to you, let alone your team, because if we're trying to motivate your team, we really got to figure out, do they think it's small or do they think it's big? Then we have to figure out, okay, what's a small task that goes with that big task? That didn't make any sense, did it, Mamas? What's a small task that goes with that small reward? What's a big task that goes with that big reward? Okay, we have to find those matching, because we do not want our teens to do an assignment that takes 5 minutes and then spend an hour gaming. We do not want that to happen. Okay, that defeats the whole purpose of a motivation system. That's not matching tasks and rewards. But at the same time, we don't want our teens to feel like, okay, I just read a 10-page paper, it's done. I spent several hours maybe researching, making sure all the grammar was right, doing the citations, doing all this amazing work. And then all of a sudden your team feels like, okay, well, that's done. Now I have to go, clean the house from top to bottom. No, we want our teens to realize that there is a reason for doing things. We have our why, we have our goals, but then there's also sometimes something tangible, sometimes something intangible that we get right away for doing that thing that needed to be done. Okay, so I have some mamas that get kind of upset when I say reward system. For me, it's an if-then system. If I do this, then I get that. And the whole goal here, mamas, the whole point of teaching your teens motivation is for your teens to get self-motivated, to find the internal motivation, the intrinsic motivation. Okay, so once your teens know why they're doing what they're doing, they're choosing to do it, then they become self-motivated. So if you got questions, drop them below. But remember, we'll talk about this more tomorrow in the final video of the series, and we can talk about it even more, personalize the discussion to you and to your teen when we meet one-on-one for Talk with Jessie. So go to that link in my bio, link in the description, choose a date and time that works for you so we can talk about your teen's study habits so we can help your teen get motivated before the new school year. Have a great night. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.